Here's more wrestling news for May 13th, 2021. And your headlines for this afternoon include: spoiler on likely title change at WWE WrestleMania Backlash. Current WWE star drops training photo to show off impressive physical transformation. Randy Orton reacts. AEW called out for letting Ricky Starks wrestle until doctor's testing. Eric Bischoff embarrassed to be part of the Randy Savage documentary. Huge matches added to AEW Double or Nothing. Disney pushes Emmy Award nomination for Sasha Banks' Mandalorian role. Vince McMahon no-sold Renee Paquette's special interview request, and more. We're starting this video with WrestleMania Backlash, as fans can expect a major title change during the show. That's according to the latest betting odds, which say that the Mysterios are the favorites to become the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, defeating the Dirty Dogs. Given reports that the Usos will be defeating a face team for the titles, it seems likely that this face team will be Rey and Dominic, who are set to win this Sunday. As for the other title matches, Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Bianca Belair are all expected to retain, whilst Damian Priest is the heavy favorite to beat The Miz. WWE could always swerve fans with this Sunday's show, but for now, expect only the SmackDown Tag Team titles to change hands. Speaking of SmackDown, Aleister Black hasn't competed since his return to screens a few weeks back, but the former NXT champion has been keeping in shape despite his absence from the ring. On Twitter, Black shared progress from a workout and said that the results come from 7 months of hard work with a nutritionist that allowed him to change his diet. Black also revealed that he dropped from 217 pounds down to 191 pounds before getting back up to 196 pounds. And after being sat backstage in catering for months, the Dutch superstar has shown that he hasn't been wasting his time in his months away from TV. AEW news now, and fans shouldn't expect to see Ricky Starks for a while, as he's dealing with a fractured neck, but things could have been much worse. Speaking on Busted Open Radio, Tony Khan said he felt terrible about Starks' neck injury, which he suffered during a match against Hangman Page. Khan explained, "He came out of it feeling okay. He really felt like he dodged a bullet, so we felt good about it, but Doc Sampson said, pull him out, and we had him go get checked out. And he had a little soreness, and Doc sent him for an MRI. We didn't know what to expect. Rico thought he was going to be okay, and it turned out he had a small fracture in his neck." Khan added that he's glad Sampson gave him a second opinion, and that he's, quote, gutted for the wrestler, who had worked hard to be a big part of Double or Nothing. Team Taz will certainly miss having Starks around, but his injury doesn't mean he'll be absent from TV, as he could still work in a non-wrestling role, much like Britt Baker during her knee injury. It's a shame that Starks will miss Double or Nothing, but his safety is more important right now, especially as things could have ended in tragedy had he continued to compete. Now, earlier this year, Ric Flair was in an on-screen relationship with Lacey Evans as part of the Sassy Southern Belle's feud with Ric's daughter Charlotte. That program ended with Evans' real-life pregnancy, and though it was hinted that Ric was the father, that was never confirmed by Evans herself. Speaking to Ariel Helwani this week, Flair gave his thoughts on the dropped angle, admitting he didn't feel comfortable, and neither did his daughter. Flair also suggested that this prominent angle was given to Evans by Vince McMahon because of her past as a Marine, saying that we can't give enough back to those that have served. Flair added that though Evans is, quote, a nice girl, he barely knows her, and it's unclear whether Ric or Evans will return to TV and whether this relationship will be rekindled when they can be back on screen. Now, recently, A&E released a documentary based on the life of Macho Man Randy Savage, which hasn't gone down well with fans. Seen as an attack on Savage, who died in 2011, WWE Hall of Famer Sean Waltman criticized it, and now Eric Bischoff has given his view on the doc. Speaking on his 83 Weeks podcast, Bischoff discussed his appearance in the Savage documentary, saying, "I'm embarrassed that I was a part of that. I like to think my criticism is constructive, and I don't like to pick on individuals, but had I known what this biography was going to be, neither my wife or I would have participated." It was Bischoff who brought Savage into WCW in 1994, and the former Raw GM didn't appreciate A&E using names who had a bad relationship with Savage, such as Bubba the Love Sponge, in their documentary. This won't be the last A&E documentary about a WWE legend, but perhaps Bischoff will think twice before sharing his views to the A&E crew. Now, AEW Double or Nothing is just over 2 weeks away, and the company did some serious building to the show on last night's Dynamite. During Dynamite, Cody Rhodes cut a promo saying he's unhappy about Anthony Ogogo disrespecting America, and now those two will face off on May 30th. This week's Dynamite also saw the number 1 contenders bout between Pac and Orange Cassidy end in a double countout, and now both Pac and Orange Cassidy will face AEW World Champion Kenny Omega. The Young Bucks will also be in action at Double or Nothing as they challenged Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston to a super kick party at Double or Nothing in what we're sure will be a kick-heavy tag team match at the end of the month. During his promo against Anthony Ogogo, Rhodes said that the English wrestler will be facing the American Dream at Double or Nothing, using the moniker his father Dusty Rhodes made famous. It's unclear how Cody will be using the moniker though, as he doesn't legally own it, as according to Heel by Nature, he abandoned the trademark for the term on March 31st. Cody abandoned the trademark claim because he couldn't provide sufficient documentation to the US Patent Office, and while he delivered a patriotic promo this week, we'll have to see how long he can call himself the American Dream. In WWE, Sasha Banks has done plenty, including being a Women's Grand Slam champion, but now the boss may be getting a major accolade outside the company. It's being reported that Disney is trying hard for The Mandalorian to get some love at the Emmy Awards, which means that Banks could soon have a nomination to her name. In a graphic obtained by The Direct, Banks, under real name Mercedes Varnado, is listed as a guest star that could get an Emmy nomination, alongside big names like Rosario Dawson, Carl Weathers, and Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill. Banks played Koska Reeves in Season 2 of the Star Wars spin-off series, a role tailor-made for her by Jon Favreau, and whilst WWE really wants an Emmy Award for their shows themselves, it might be the boss who adds the statue to her large trophy cabinet. Vince McMahon news next, and it's no secret that the chairman doesn't enjoy speaking in public anymore, as he's even kept quiet during the last couple of investors' calls. One person who would like to hear McMahon speak his mind is Renee Paquette, who offered an invitation to the chairman in January to appear on her podcast. During this week's oral sessions, Renee said how she never got an answer back from the boss, even though she does have his email address, and explained what would have happened if the chairman had said yes. I would talk to him about some of the visions he has had for things and just being able to pick his brain. I mean, me being able to sit in production meetings with him for a year plus, getting to see just how his mind works and trying to understand how his mind works, but I think I would just have a lot of questions about how he runs the shows. Paquette sat in production meetings with Vince for years and was just getting to know how his mind works, but sadly, the chairman of the board isn't in the mood to speak his mind in public anymore. And we're ending today with AEW, who have added 2 huge title matches to the card of next week's Dynamite. On the show, NWA Women's World Champion Serena Deeb will defend against Red Velvet after being on the shelf since March with a knee injury. AEW World Tag Team Champions the Young Bucks will also be in action, defending against the Varsity Blondes next week. The May 19th Dynamite will also see Anthony Ogogo face Austin Gunn and Christian Cage face Matt Sydal on the road to AEW Double or Nothing. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.